is why you should think twice about making your friend your surrogate. I always knew I wanted to have a few kids. I've dreamt of being a mom for as long as I can remember. However, due to a medical condition, carrying a baby isn't an option for me. I wasn't going to let this stop me, so I started looking into surrogacy. This process was really expensive and a lot harder than I thought. After months of searching, my best friend Ashley volunteered to be my surrogate for me and my fiance. She knew how much we wanted to start a family. I was so excited and extremely grateful. Ashley and I had been friends for 8 years, and I couldn't think of anyone better to be our surrogate. My fiance and I decided to ask Ashley to move in with us so that we could all be there for each other throughout the pregnancy. Everything was going great until it wasn't. Ashley started making a few comments to my fiance that made me really uncomfortable. One night, she asked him to give her a back massage. When he hesitated, she said to him, "I'm carrying your child, you should do whatever I ask you to." I let this comment go, even though it didn't sit right with me. Another night, she referred to herself as his baby mama, which made me furious. I told her she was overstepping, and she laughed and told me she was just kidding. It only got worse from here. Part 2, why you should think twice about making your friend your surrogate. Ashley continued to overstep throughout the surrogacy process. One night, she told me she didn't like the name that I picked out for my baby and started giving me recommendations on what she thought the name should be. As it got closer to the due date, Ashley told me that she had thoughts about moving in permanently and raising the baby with my fiance and I, which was never part of the plan. When I shut that down, she seemed bitter. I could tell she had developed feelings for my fiance, which made it even more awkward. I knew I made a terrible mistake picking her as my surrogate. After my daughter was born, Ashley stayed with us for a little while longer, even though it wasn't part of our initial agreement. She wanted to spend every second holding our new baby girl, and I could tell that she was getting overly attached. We decided to tell Ashley our observations and told her that she had to move out before things got worse. She didn't take this well, and when she left, she told us that she didn't want to hear from us anymore. A couple years later, Ashley reached out to us and asked if she could come over and see us. When she came over, she told my daughter right in front of me that she was her real mom and that she'd find out when she was older. I couldn't believe it and immediately asked her to leave. Luckily, I haven't heard from her since.
My boyfriend is really into cars. Recently discovered a charity project where they fixed up an old Jaguar and it's worth around $300,000. You could buy a $50 raffle ticket to win the car and the money went towards a good cause. My boyfriend is broke at the moment, so I offered to go halves with the ticket. He didn't want to because then the car wouldn't be his completely. I wasn't too worried about it and didn't mention it again. I did, however, buy a ticket for myself. Well, I won, and on the 1st of next month, I will be the owner of the car. My boyfriend found out he was really excited until I told him I was going to sell the car and put half of the money in my savings and invest the other half. He said I can't sell our car without consulting him. I told him it's my car and I can do whatever I want. He now claims it was all a big misunderstanding and apparently wanted to go halves, but hasn't gotten around to giving me the money yet. I call BS on it, but he keeps saying that we're a couple and we should make this decision together. I still am planning on going ahead and selling the car and keeping the money to myself. I do see a future with him, but it was my money and my ticket. Am I the asshole for not wanting to go 50-50 and keeping the money all towards myself? My best friend is getting married. Neither of us have any sisters, so we're both the closest the other has to one. Her fiancé comes from an extremely mega Catholic family. She pulled me aside this past weekend and told me I wouldn't be able to go to the ceremony, which is in a traditional Catholic church. Her fiancé's parents, who are paying for almost all of the wedding, do not want anyone who is not baptized, no one with kids out of wedlock, and no unmarried couples who are living together. I have 2 children from 2 different people, and I didn't marry either of their fathers. She said a lot of people are being uninvited to the ceremony, but I'm still welcome to come to the reception. That's just their demands for footing the bill for everything. I was fucking pissed. I'm used to being judged for being a young, unmarried mom, but not by a person I trusted. I told her I won't be going to the wedding at all. Reception be damned. She started crying and said it wasn't her choice, but she couldn't change their minds. I told her she's a hypocrite because she's already slept with her fiancé, and if she really is choosing money for a single day over me and my kids who she claims she loves. She pretty much begged me to reconsider, but I told her I respected myself and my children too much for that. I know it was a hard choice for her to make, but I feel like shit being judged for my kids and my past choices. Am I the asshole for telling her I won't come to her wedding?
This is why you shouldn't use your real name online. When I was younger, I was really into meeting friends online, and I always used my real name as my user on the websites. After I turned 18, I matched with someone that lived a few states away. His name was Matt, and he was 21 years old. We quickly became friends, and soon our friendship turned into a virtual friends with benefits situation. We talked all the time and sent risque photos over Snapchat. After a month, things started to shift. He quickly became extremely clingy and would get angry if I didn't text him back right away. I felt uncomfortable and distanced myself as his behavior escalated. Finally, I told him our friendship was no longer fun or healthy, apologized, and blocked him on everything. A couple days later, someone with my full name as their user added me on Snapchat. When I accepted, they started insulting me and I instantly knew it was Matt. He said he wanted to be with me, and when I disagreed, the threats started. He sent my work and home address along with emails and numbers which belonged to different people I knew. He threatened to send all our conversations and my needs to them. I was terrified and quickly blocked him, but he kept making new accounts to harass me. Eventually, he stopped and I thought it was the end of it. Until one late night after work when I walked to my car and noticed a car parked facing mine with their high beams. Part 2 of why you shouldn't use your real name online. I ignored the car, got in mine, and drove off. Almost immediately, I noticed the car was following me. I decided to drive away from my house and then to a Walmart to lose this person in the busy aisles, but they were on my tail the whole time. Panic set in as I drove even further out. When we came to a red light, they switched lanes and came up right next to my car. I was so scared I didn't turn my head fully, but just a little to get a glance of who it was. I didn't need to see his whole face because I instantly knew it was Matt. He waved at me, but I looked forward the entire time. He had driven hundreds of miles just to stalk me. My heart was racing, and I voice-dialed my friend. A few lights down, I looked over and saw him wink and smirk at me, and then finally take a right turn. I went to my friends and stayed the night. When I got home in the morning, my sister told me that someone dropped off roses for me in the middle of the night. When I plugged my phone in and checked, there he was with a new account to harass me again. As a last-ditch effort, I lied to him and told him that I met someone else, and
Happy Year of the Ox.
For some weird reason, he respected this even though he was a little angry. I blocked him one last time, changed my user on all websites, and have been careful ever since.
Name the time that a girl has DM'd you on Instagram regarding her boyfriend. I'll start. Today I got an Instagram DM from a girl asking why her boyfriend followed me on Instagram. I have a public account, and not that it matters, but my photos aren't exactly I don't know, anything to be threatened by. Either way, I asked her who her boyfriend was. She gave me his @. I click on his account and I don't follow him, so I look on messages. This boy messaged me calling me a fat, dumb whore and told me to kill myself. I showed his girlfriend and I said, well, I guess this is why he follows me. This girl says, and I quote, "Thank God," and then blocks me. Not gonna lie, if my mum was cheating, it would probably be less embarrassing. Anyway, fast forward a few hours. I get a message from the same guy saying, "I'm so sorry for sending you that message. I had to send it because my girlfriend checked my DMs and I didn't want her to think I was following you because I thought you were fit."
I was engaged to the love of my life, but my sister met up with me and begged me to break it off. She said I had to leave him because they were in love, and he was just too afraid to break up with me because he didn't want to hurt me or my family. When I confronted my fiancé about my stepsister's accusations, he straight up denied it. He said she's been trying to come on to him for some time and he never mentioned it because he didn't want to ruin our relationship. He begged me not to believe her until we continued how we were. My stepsister grew resentful and made nasty comments about how I was forcing a man who didn't even love me to marry me because I had low self-esteem. A month later, I get a text from my sister. It's a video of her and my fiancé sleeping together in my bed, and multiple screenshots of him telling her he loved her, how he wished she was the girl he was marrying, and how he hated that I wouldn't let them be together. I was devastated and angry, but decided to move in silence. I went home, grabbed all my stuff, removed all my money from my joint account, and moved in with my dad. After that, I sent all the screenshots to my family and his. He tried getting back with me multiple times, but I ended up blocking him when I found out he proposed to my sister with the same ring he gave me. I left it behind. Now they're getting married.
I literally want to cry. So if you didn't know, I have a sister, and her name's Ashley. And we both have boyfriends. And every night we both fall asleep on the phone with our boyfriends. So one day we're all hanging out and we're just talking. And my sister's boyfriend looks at me and he's like, "You need to stop going into your sister's room in the middle of the night." And I look at him and I'm like, "What are you talking about? I don't have a reason to go into her room. I don't go into her room, especially in the middle of the night." Then my boyfriend hops in the conversation and he's like, No. He's like, "No, I hear Ashley go into Kayla's room every night and stare at her." So me and my sister both look at each other and we're like, "We don't go into each other's rooms, do we?" And we agreed that we do not. And they said this has been going on for months. So for months, somebody or something has been going into me and my sister's room for about 15 minutes every night and watching us sleep. But it only gets worse.